Welcome to Legal Keys, unlocking time, revenue, and results. The podcast that connects you with the people, technologies, and trending topics shaping the modern legal landscape. From cutting-edge AI innovations to high-growth marketing strategies and everything in between. Legal Keys is your go-to resource for actionable insights. Brought to you by Faster Outcomes and hosted by Tim Sawyer, two-time Inc. 500 co-founder entrepreneur. We're here to help you navigate the tools and trends driving success in today's legal world.
Hello, welcome to Legal Keys, brought to you by Faster Outcomes. Faster Outcomes is the ultimate AI-powered legal intelligence platform for lawyers and law firms of all shapes and sizes. And speaking of lawyers, we have a good one today. I know you're going to enjoy our guest. I'm your host, Tim Sawyer. And as always, we encourage you to like and share. If your first time joining us, we appreciate it. And if you've been with us for a while, we appreciate your continued support. So with that said, drum roll, please. Our guest is Carlos Arce, a seasoned healthcare attorney and business strategist with the Florida healthcare law firm. Carlos has built a remarkable career helping physicians, clinics, and wellness entrepreneurs navigate complex health regulations, M&A transactions, and compliance frameworks, all while scaling their businesses the right way successfully. He's not just a lawyer, and I've seen him in action. His clients love him. And if anyone is involved in the healthcare space, you definitely got to reach out to this guy. He's been an operator himself. He's an advisor and a trusted partner for some of the most innovative healthcare ventures in the country. Today, we're talking about how AI is transforming healthcare law, what firms can do to stay ahead, and how tools like Faster Outcomes are redefining the way lawyers work, think, and grow. Carlos, welcome to Legal Keys.
Thanks for having me, Tim. It's a pleasure to be here.
You look great, by the way.
Thanks, man. You look great as well.
Younger every time I see you. So let's start. We were talking a little bit before we started recording. So you guys are super busy. Tell us a little bit about what you do in the law firm, the type of clients that you're working on, and what's driving growth currently.
Sure. So our firm, the Florida Healthcare Law Firm, is a 12-lawyer firm. We're boutique, healthcare driven and healthcare focused only. We only represent healthcare businesses and healthcare providers. And that's what we do on a nationwide basis. We represent clients from mid-level providers to physicians to non-physician owned medical practices throughout the country, corporate practice of medicine, regulations, big in the wellness space, big in IV hydration, aesthetics, peptides. Jeff Cohen and myself are the two partners here. We have our own little niches of things. I'm mostly on the architectural side of the corporate practice of medicine, structuring for businesses. Jeff goes real granular and deep into big federal and state regulations. So with our team, we help clients soup to nuts, start to finish, and we get them where they need to go and be successful in business.
So it's a business healthcare law firm. So your typical client is what? A dermatologist, a plastic surgeon, a med spa?
All of the above. All of the above. It doesn't really matter. It's anyone that is in the healthcare space and wants to be doing anything in healthcare. We represent them. There's a lawyer in our firm that specializes in that kind of business, and therefore we can help the gamut of all types of medical businesses.
So one of the things that I want to start with, because for our audience, and our audience is made up of family law, personal injury lawyers, healthcare providers themselves, by the way. And one of the trends that's really interesting, it's emerging, is the ability of a non-lawyer to own a law firm. So in the state of Massachusetts, not state of Arizona, that was one of the first states to allow that. So it's starting to attract private equity into talk for lawyers who are thinking about that, because it's a big topic as we go to conferences, because they can sell their law firm to a non-lawyer. They can get more money, higher valuations. What is the structure that you go, because I bet it's very similar. What is the structure that a non-medical professional, how do you set that up for a non-medical professional to own a medical clinic?
Sure. So there's a concept called the management service organization. It's a type of vessel that's been used for many years now, and it's been used as a way to allow non-physician owners to have a administrative and managerial role in a business that is physician owned. There are a series of laws called corporate practice of medicine restriction laws. 33 of the 50 states in our union have restrictions against non-physician owners. So the way that you see big physician practice groups marketing nationwide and the way that they're able to do that and they're backed by private equity is through the MSO model. The MSO model is typically comprised of financial persons, administrators, business individuals that provide services to these medically owned practices through something called a management services agreement. So
Yeah.
similar to that of the in the law firm world, it would be the same concept. If a law firm was solely owned by lawyers and it needed managerial services, if they were to create a management services agreement with a management company to manage them, they could achieve that. Now, the key rule that there is in the healthcare space, and I'm assuming would be the same for the legal spaces, you can never overtly control or have any actual decision-making power as it relates to the management of the business, which I'm sure the bar, that's their biggest key thing as to why there's restrictions.
Yeah, so you pay, so for those, the lawyers who are listening and thinking, hey, does this mean I could sell my law firm to a non-lawyer someday? If this continues, if this trend continues, by the way, you could set up your law firm in Arizona and do it today. Um, as they're thinking about this, so the law firm pays fees to the MSO, right? The management services organization for those backroom operations, and they can spend marketing expenses, that type of thing. What has been the net impact on the valuations of your average medical clinic? Has you seen there's a
Yeah.
demand for that? PE firms buying these, or what's been the impact?
Yeah. Let's go back to where we saw it really do the crescent on it, and now we're seeing it in the wellness space. But let me tell you where we saw it really take a sharp turn in the dental space. So there's a corporate practice of dental restriction throughout the United States. It's for the most part, no state really allows dental practices to be owned by non-dentists.
Yep,
So how did management people, how did private equity do this? They created these things called DSOs, dental service organizations. Same exact concept of an MSO,
yep,
just change the word out for dental. What does that do? What we've seen is that groups that are backed by a DSO, they're the groups that you're seeing nationwide that are providing these corporate practice, these corporate offices that allow for a very structured, rigid framework and allow for a patient to have that continuity of care wherever they got to go. Like let's say you go to ABC Dental and there's one in Fort Lauderdale and then there's one in Boca Raton. I can go back and forth between both because they're all owned by this big conglomerate. And
yeah,
some people want that. They want that structure of the formality of having something that they can jump back and forth in.
got it.
We're seeing that in the wellness space. How are we seeing it? A lot of the mom and pop shops, IV Hydration, aesthetic businesses, they're all physician and mid-level run. A lot of these people, they're very busy working in the business and not on the business. They
Yep,
miss the key component, which is actually knowing how to run a business. They don't because they're providers. They're there to help patients feel better and to look better and to get their medical needs met. But they leave the business needs last, and it's not on purpose, it's just because that's not their training. So, where are we seeing it? We're seeing MSOs coming in, helping those kind of providers, putting them together, and helping them with these administrative services to make them successful.
smart. And what you're describing is, so if you look at kind of a bell curve of law firms, right, particularly in personal and family law too, um, it's 2 to 3 people. 5, would be a larger one. Now you've got larger firms, but the bell curve at the top would show you got 3 to 5 people, a couple lawyers, a paralegal, maybe a front office person. Um, and it sounds like this, I'm sure they have to be some type of size to make the economics work, but it seems like it's going to have a meaningful impact. Imagine if all of a sudden lawyers could sell their practice to a non-lawyer, and to your point, have a large private equity group go, okay, we're going to buy 40 of them, and then we're going to put the same operational infrastructure across all of them. It's cool. And what's funny is lawyers, I spent a lot of time at conferences with lawyers, and they're talking about this as if, because to them, it is a very foreign concept. It's what? You crazy? But you've been in that world in
Yeah.
the medical space now for 10, 8, 10 years. I don't know how long they've been doing it.
Yeah, as an attorney, 10 years, but as a business executive, I grew up in the healthcare space. My family I have physicians in my family that own primary care practices. So I grew up at age of 14. I was in a medical practice, filing medical records because that was just the trade of the family. So I've been seeing the involvement of non-physician owners involved with physicians since I was a young kid. And I can tell you, I saw my family take their one office location to 18 offices, sell to private equity for 220 million plus.
Wow.
Company ended up being the platform to go public for a company that went public in the late 2020s. And it's incredible to see when you decide to focus on what you know and to admit what you don't know, that's when you become successful and incorporate the people that actually know the things that you don't, you become unstoppable. And that's what I've seen in healthcare, and I hope lawyers are listening to this because it could change your practice.
They are, and it's funny because whether they sell or not, that's a really good concept to focus on. Do the things that you're really good at
Yeah,
and try to offload the things that are brain damage. It's not particularly a core skill for you. And so many, this, so many small business people, they wear so many hats
that's
that
right.
they're literally doing everything. So great conversation. You're gonna be in the middle of this thing because all my lawyer friends are gonna say, hey, can I talk to Carlos about that? Because it's coming. If they've done it in
Yeah.
one state, that's the model. Private equity will drive it, and it'll be a really interesting transition for legal. And I appreciate you having the conversation for my friends who are new to that. Next thing I want to talk about, really cool. You're working on an AI project.
Yep.
First of all, you consider yourself somewhat of a technical guy when it comes to business. Where do you get the technical chops from, or even the technical interest? Because you don't see that a
Well,
lot.
Well, Tim, it's a funny story, but prior to being a lawyer, I was actually in the music business. I was a DJ and I was a music producer. So I've been very tech savvy from an early age. I was generating music on computers at a young teenage age, which led me to being very tech savvy and always using technology as a way to move forward. In college, I was the guy that was taking any course that had to do with a computerized type anything. I was doing that.
Yeah,
I've always found that technology is a tool to help you be better and not something that should supplement what you have in your brain. So the way I see it is use it as a friend. Don't make it a challenge. Um, so I've always been open to tech. I've always been open to seeing innovation. Never been against it. I use AI in my practice. We're working with faster outcomes to make that process better and to take us to the next level. I'm probably like the tech guy in our firm that's leading the charge on that. So we've seen the benefit to our clients. We have clients that are around the country that need things quick. They need it fast and they want
yeah,
things at lightning speed and they want lawyers like us to validate data quickly. So we have clients that send us things that they've used AI agents for. We use AI agents when needed, right? We get the clients to consent to that and we do it.
yeah.
And it helps them get a result and it helps us provide efficient services in a quick manner.
And so I have two questions around that. So one is, how did your journey start with AI? What was the first thing you did? Was it ChatGPT and you started
Yeah,
looking at recipes? Like,
yeah.
what were you doing? Because you're a curious guy, right? So
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always been big Google SEO kind of person. I've known about
yeah,
SEO for a long time. Like you said in the beginning, I've run medical practices and MSOs in the past from the medical side. So I knew that in order to get patient exposure, there's very strict marketing laws as it relates to
yeah,
patient generation. So I knew that getting on in the web, getting on social media was the way to attract patient intake. So
yeah,
with that being said, being I would say that my first AI experience, I'm gonna say it's probably training in law school. LexisNexis and Westlaw, those types of programs, the Boolean searching, I think those are the grandfathers of AI, right? It's where you
yeah,
would put in data, it would generate leads, and then you could go and sort through the information. Now, what has AI done, right? The Chat GPTs of the world, the Jaspers, all, faster outcomes. You
yeah.
guys have actually perfected that concept. and allowed someone like me or someone that's a lawyer to be able to input the data and say spit out what I need. And that's kind of my journey with it. I've always had it functional in my practice. I'm now we're calling it AI, but I think it's been around for years.
It has. What's funny, I was thinking about the way some people talk about AI, because that's how I frame the question. And it's like, tell me about your first kiss. Oh, my first experience with AI. It's been around now long enough that it's a little nostalgic for some people. They're like, oh, I tried it. I couldn't believe what happened. And it's funny. And so on a more, I don't know if I call it a sophisticated level, but really it is, right? So the next generation of AI, in addition to people loving search functionality, the ability to go out and find information, is the ability to use their own information.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your epiphany when you said, if I could do X, Y, Z, ultimately what you're trying to accomplish, you and Jeff in the law firm with AI.
Yeah. So we've always had the concern, Jeff has been a board certified healthcare lawyer for 39 years. I've been in practice for about 10. So we come from a different, complete train of thought, school of thought. Jeff's thought is we perfect our forms, we perfect the documents that we use, we know how to interchangeably use them, and we don't give up that trust to something that has allowable for risk because we don't want to harm our client, right?
Yep.
That's the mentality that a lot of older lawyers have because of the fear of will AI mess it up? Um, I always had the concept of what if there was some sort of algorithm that could use the documents that we've perfected, that we've mastered, that we've vetted, that we know will not hurt our clients, and I could interchangeably use them at a quicker pace than what I'm doing them now. um, that's what faster outcomes has done for me. It's make my dream a reality, which has been, can I use a computer to help me tweak things into a form, into a document that benefits my client at a faster speed than me having to go and type word for word. Now, I can type pretty quick, but I'm telling you, AI will beat me all day. And that has been the dream of seeing a company like Faster Outcomes, what you guys are pushing
Yeah.
on the space is incredible because it's going to allow lawyers to maximize time and efficiency to be able to take care of more clients by making the process quicker and efficient.
And you guys have, like you said, your founding partner's got almost 4 decades.
Yeah.
He's got a big body of work that needs to be OCR'd and digitized and
Yep.
has been. And so it's a smart move. Now, one of the questions that I get, not so much in personal injury because it's contingency based, right? But the most debated, hotly debated topic when it comes to AI, whether it's in business law like you, or even family law at some level, is the disruption in the billable hour.
Yeah.
How are you guys processing that, right? Well, it used to take me 10 hours. Now it takes one. I lost 9 hours. That's the
Yeah.
most talked about thing that all over the country right now. What's your
Yeah.
take on that?
Yeah. My take is that most bars throughout the country allow something called value-based billing.
Yep.
Value-based billing is when you're able to grab a project, you tell a client, listen, it's going to be X dollars fixed price to do the services that I'm going to include in this list. Do you agree? Client agrees, you get the work done. Now, that is where years of experience, the years of your brain doing something so repetitively comes into play. Something that Jeff and I always talk about, and something that he's invoked on me is the more years you're in practice, the more your value goes down as an attorney because you can do things that took you maybe 10 hours as a young associate, first year out of school, that you can probably do in an hour as a veteran lawyer who's been doing it for 40 years. Why?
Right.
Because repetition makes you an expert. Now,
Right.
what if you could capture the value of what you're doing to a client, pass it on, right, at a reasonable rate? I'm not saying let's inflate numbers here. I'm just saying pass on what's fair. What is fair, right? Fair market value for the service. If the client agrees and they're happy, and you agree and you're happy, and you tell them we're going to do it through our measures, but we're going to
Yep.
validate and make sure that it's proper, and the client pays for it, there shouldn't be an issue. See, the bar has said, most of the bars have said that as long as the lawyer is reviewing the data and the lawyer is verifying and the lawyer is using their intellect to make sure that the thing is done correctly, The billing part is, of course, you cannot bill a client something that takes you 30 seconds, bill them 3 hours. Well, that would be wrong. That would be fraud. That would be, not sit well with anyone. No one is saying to do that. That's criminal. But if you can have a client agree and say, you know what, I'm going to take your expertise, I want to take your guidance, and I want to pay you X amount of dollars for it, there's no issue with that because you're not overcharging. You're just
You
charging
know
what
what
you agreed with the client.
not to interrupt you, but what I love about what you just said is you say, and I mean this, and when I say I talk to lawyers about this all the time, all the freaking time. And what you just said with the level of confidence that you have, like, why would they care how long it takes? I'm giving them exactly what they want at a reasonable price. It seems to me like it's not, I don't want to be disrespectful to my friends who are lawyers, but it seems to me it's not that difficult, right? So what's in your mind, Carlos? Because again, I talk to a lot, it's rare when I talk to a law firm that's like, yeah, we totally get it. We're fine with that. It's, well, how does that work with, you know, billable hours? And I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Um, is it because they're not sure how to frame that to the consumer? Is it the consumer's not ready? Like, what's breaking down in that process?
I'm gonna for a second, talk down to the people in my profession. The issue we've had, and I've had to learn this too, is we're so afraid of talking about money. We're so afraid to talk with clients frankly and demystifying the billing of what it takes to do things. If you can get over that and you can decide and say, this is what things cost, this is what I'm going to communicate to a client, and be upfront. That first conversation you're having with them is, listen, here, I see your issue. I see what needs to be done. These are the laws that are implicated. It's going to cost this much. Do you agree with that? And if the client agrees and is like, yes, I want to do that, then what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. It's a bargain. It's a bargain. We are service providers.
Yeah.
It's like when I go to the doctor and they say it's $120 for an office visit. I'm not questioning whether it took him 5 minutes, 30 minutes. I went there because I was sick, because I needed care for the office visit. It's the same exact concept for lawyers.
I tell you, my man, you are dead on with that. And I've got to get you traveling around the country with me because I can see the brain spinning when I go, yeah, this process, what we figured out, it used to take 10 hours. Now it takes an hour. And they're going, okay, 900 times nine. That means I lost $8,100. Why would I do that? And what's interesting is at the highest level, I was at a conference where it was talking about the larger law firms, AmLaw 200. Those are the largest law firms in the country, and the really low success rate they have with AI implementation, partly because it's large scale, partly because there's multiple layers to it, but also what's the motivation, right? For the CFO is probably looking at this and going, guys, time out. What's going to happen to all the hours? So it's a really cool conversation. And like I said, I give you credit because I love the confidence with which you speak about it. And you're like, hey, I'm providing a great service. My experience has value. And you're right. You have no problem saying to the person, this is what it is. You're cool with that? And they go, yep. And there's no friction. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like we're, as a profession, the legal profession is creating the friction. Like I remember when I was first training as a loan officer. And one of the things during the mortgage application you had to ask for, the most sensitive thing is the social security number. So you'd be like, yeah, okay, I just need your name, I need your address, I need your phone number. And just one more thing, it's not a big deal, it's totally okay. I need your social security number. What'd you just say? And I created the problem. I didn't just say name, address, phone number, social security number. I got all weird about it, right? And so
Yeah.
it's funny that you say that. So you're super busy right now. You've got the Peptide Association, you've got
Yep.
the IV Association. Is there an explosion in wellness? Like, what is going on?
Yeah. So our firm founders, Jeff Cohen, my law partner, and Autumn Piccolo, who is our firm administrator, they are running the American IV Association, which is a national platform that leads the IV trend that has exploded in this country from the regulatory perspective, and they've partnered with key leader providers in the healthcare space to bring that regulatory advisory to the masses and to the providers who are looking for guidance. They've recently launched the American Peptide Association, which is the same exact concept, but for the peptide industry. That is an industry that changes daily. That is something that not only are we dealing with FDA scrutiny, but we're dealing with state by state guidance. There's such unclarity. People don't really know where to go. They don't know where to turn direction as to what is legal, what's not legal. So the APA, the American Peptide Association, their goal is to provide clarity to the providers out there, the pharmacies that are out there doing the services, providing the care to these patients, and demystifying it. It's the same concept, right? It's demystify what is the unknown. If you live in this unknown, you'll never move forward. If you're living with the block, right? So our objective with our law firm and the companies that we get involved with is to provide awareness and to be open about things and just to be, it's an open book. Come check it out. It's great. So we're very excited with those two ventures, and we look forward to spreading the word.
And what's really cool, that's awesome. What's really cool is Faster Outcomes is now getting ready to launch our healthcare division with some really cool people who have a lot of experience in the peptide supplement space in functional integrative medicine. So I know that we will be seeing lots and lots and lots of Florida healthcare firm folks. And by the way, if somebody's interested in talking with you about what we discussed today, even I think anybody interested in that MSO concept can learn a lot from you. Certainly, as we grow in the healthcare space, we certainly encourage folks to reach out to you guys. What's the best way to find you and email you? What's the
Sure. My email is Carlos, right? Carlos at Florida spelled out, healthcare spelled out, law firm spelled out.com. Follow me on socials, Mr. Arce, ARCE Esquire. I'm on Instagram, and I'm always posting material and posting things on LinkedIn. I'm posting weekly about trends in the healthcare space and things that are happening. And you'll see my firm's posts there linked on the bios. We are providing data daily. We put out information on the regular. Why? Because we have no need to mystify it. We want to share the information with everyone and let everyone have the information at their fingertips, just like what AI is doing. And I think that the minute you stop counting and the minute you just start governing yourself from a how much value can I deliver in every interaction is the minute that things open up for you and they become amazing.
You're amazing. Let me just say that.
Thanks,
I
Tim.
honestly, man, this was a really cool conversation. I appreciate your honesty, and that's what I love about podcasting is that I always try to find that nugget of truth, that universal truth. And in this case, there's a lot of unlocks that you've mentioned, right? And I think part of it is if you operate from a place of faith and not fear,
Yeah.
in confidence, then you're probably going to be in a much better position, right? First of all, if you believe in yourself, then all things are possible. So absolutely amazing, Carlos. I appreciate you taking the time today. Want to thank our listeners for joining us. Always appreciative. Like I said, like and share Legal Keys. We're grateful for you. Brought to you by Faster Outcomes, the ultimate legal intelligence platform for lawyers and law firms of all shapes and sizes. And you can visit us at fasteroutcomes.com. Carlos, can't wait to get this released and out in the community. Hope to see you on the trail again soon. And thank you, my friend. Everybody, have a great week.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me.